This is the G protein receptor system. So first what happens is reception. Reception is the binding between the signal protein and the receptor that is highly specific. So the receptor here is a G protein linked receptor, which is embedded in the plasma membrane. There is an inactive G protein that is connected to the receptor. It is called GDP. GDP has two phosphates. ATP makes the G protein an active protein, and it is called GTP. Another phosphate is added. There is an inactive enzyme that becomes activated by GTP. Then you have adenylyl cyclase, which is an enzyme in the cell membrane that converts ATP into CAMP in response to a signal. CAMP activates a phosphorylation cascade. One protein kinase activates another protein kinase and leads to a cellular response, which is calcium ions being released from the ER. This is a tyrosine kinase receptor system. There are two receptor tyrosine kinase proteins with tyrosine on them, and they are embedded in the membrane. At the top, there is a ligand binding site. Two signal proteins come and bind to the receptor proteins, which creates a dimer. 6-ATP turn into ADP. The phosphates that have been removed are added to the 6 tyrosines. Inactive relay proteins become active relay proteins when they are attached to tyrosine and a phosphate on the receptor. Then a phosphorylation cascade occurs where a protein kinase activates another protein kinase, leading to the cellular response, calcium ions being released from the ER. Diabetes is a disorder that is a result of miscommunication between cells. This is what is supposed to happen. Insulin is released by the pancreas, and insulin is a signal protein that binds to an insulin receptor, usually located on muscle, fat, or brain cells. Autophosphorylation sets a cascade, and kinases activate other kinases. The cellular response is triggered when there is phosphorylation of a protein that no longer inhibits the RAB proteins that are on the GLUT4 storage vesicles. Now these storage vesicles can freely merge with the membrane and take large quantities of glucose from the bloodstream to inside the cell. This is what happens in a person with type 1 diabetes. The immune system destroys beta cells in the pancreas, which produce insulin. So what happens is that there is too much glucose built up outside of the cells. They can't move into the cells because there are no insulin that can trigger glucose transmitters. Symptoms of diabetes are fatigue, hunger, weight loss, increased heart rate, nausea. Treatments are insulin therapy, diet, frequent blood sugar monitoring, and exercise. The end.